still, again, completely different. And I feel like that alone is going to change how ULF work as we get ready for this first map, or what ULF, I should say, is expecting for Eternal Fire. So coming to Sunset, we'll get to see if there's any changes on either side, right? ULF only having one rep on this map, and Eternal Fire, ooh, it looks like they are trying to keep the same that they had previously with Cyderx, just that one-for-one substitution with Skyla also on the Sova. And on the flip side, it does look like ULF is also going to be reprising this Breach composition that they played all the way back in phase 2. Oh, sorry. That they played pretty recently up against Oxuji.
Yes, phase 3, yeah. So both these teams keeping their compositions. That's been something we've seen. So a couple of teams we've seen mix and match a little bit. You know, when we see Foot play, they're very much a textbook example of teams that are willing to be a little bit chaotic with this chaotic format and draft system. These two teams sticking with their guns for now, but we'll see what happens as we get later into the series. And starting off with a pistol, they've been pretty hit and miss with their pistols, in my opinion, recently.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. I do think starting out on the attack will hopefully give them that kind of nexus that they need to kick things off in the right way. But on the flip side, not seeing anything out of the ordinary, no kind of aggressive mid-fights out of Eternal Fire to kick things off with a bang. It is just kind of a late setup maybe from Izzy and Sturban to launch forward out of elbow into A main if contact is made. So this is where we're going to see that Breach try to neutralize if it in fact does come to a head.
Yeah, off an incredibly aggressive team and a comp to match it. And we're going to see early A main fight potentially. No, actually. It's going to be Eternal Fire taking that space instead over towards B. Alpha going to start to poke and prod, and there is so limited resistance.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to kind of fake things out, right? You had the Neon to set up the deep Sova. That drone not seeing anything, though, is where the question marks start popping up, and ULF have to start clearing A main themselves.
They do, but that drone's called over so much attention as well. It's pulled away the A site, rotates, there's a window of opportunity. Smoke goes out, and they're ahead of it to try and find this. Picks go one apiece. Still fighting for this control. They've got it for now, and I think Eternal Fire, you've just got to respect it once they get that plant down.
Yeah, Sturban got a nice one there, trying to sneak away. Fortunately got refragged, so it's a 4-on-4 here for the retake. Nice ping damage so far through that box, but it's going to be, how do they hold on with this paranoia from Adaz?
Yeah, that's going to be the real question. I think Stop needs to swing here, and it needs to find something impressive. Actually going to tuck on into elbow there. And this is a lovely crossfire. The longer Eternal Fire waited, the harder this gets for them. Ordaz spots a little bit of something coming out the smoke. Spears found one. Stop's getting run down. Ordaz going to save their life. Ever the bodyguard. Anima really needs to find Orzaz. Ordaz causing so many problems, but the thing is being run on down. Finds the first, but will be overwhelmed. So much time left available, and that's going to be Eternal Fire with the opening round.
And I really like how Eternal Fire took their time on this retake, right? They had little jumpies out of the dark cover. They took their time. I like how Spear as well kind of waited for that fight to come off of Audaz's paranoia and shuts down Favian as well. So it's kind of like they expected that refight in the post plant to come through from ULF, and they handled every step of it perfectly, down to the kind of piecing apart and trading each other on that last generator player there for ULF's side. So you mentioned they haven't had great pistols, and that's exactly what we see here. Yet again, the first pistol and the first round going to Eternal Fire.
This is a theme with ULF, right? Is they'll lose the pistol. Often they'll lose the conversion, even though they're a team that likes to buy in a little bit, right?
Well, did they buy in? Did they?
I think there was an outlaw and a sheriff bought up, so not a whole force in. And there's the paranoia. Lovely relay bolt there. Stop's going to swing. It's going to get one. Ordaz actually hanging around, gets caught out in the open. Bought the exit for the team. Orb's going to be conceded, though. And
honestly, I mentioned it, right? It's going to be Izzy versus Sop at the beginning of every single round. And that Outlaw, you mentioned that was bought up, goes the distance, finds that trade. And you're losing your duelist. That's not great. The Owl drone re-clear, though, through mid. Gets good information that this is kind of framing for a re-B split or a top mid flip. And we'll see what ULF decide to do.
Sop, ooh, creeping around the corner, spots 1, 2 bullets ring out, and one pick finds the kill feed. Lovely kills from Anima, though. The Stinger goes crazy, and that's the issue. Immediately, they have to pull back all of this mid-control they spent all round fighting for. And yeah, and look at this position. Sturban about to be the killing blow.
Yeah, that would be spiked down, and your Cypher deep into the B lines where, yep, Spear, head on a swivel, is able to shut down that final kill. I mean, this is the productivity that we knew we were going to see out of Eternal Fire, and that re-exploration looked really good. And I'm loving the Anima stage a lot, which, speaking of, we were lied to a little bit. I thought it was going to be Brave in the server, and it is, in fact, Anima, who they got that rep back in the server with yesterday and the previous day in that Turkish Cup.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see how that's going to change instead of having Brave. So still only 2 players from the last time these 2 teams fought in Challengers, but all in all, I think that's adding to this, right? We saw it on the pistol, we saw it there, and that's what's allowing them to have that little bit of creativity in the mix too.
Yeah, exactly. All right, into round 3 we go. Slow orbs go over the top. This is going to make it incredibly difficult, and they could pounce here, caught vulnerable, and they are going to be aggressed. Fabian, though, just waiting for this, knows that that orb has got them in a little bit of a tricky spot, and they're going to try and capitalize, and they're just going to wait. Spear gets one stop, immediately returns to favor round the corner. Can't quite find the kill. Izzy goes for the repick, but the fault line perfectly timed, and that's going to be the ace site open for business, completely cleaned on out.
Ooh, neck on alert to cut off their final rotations. As you mentioned, we get stopped to set up this deep A line. Able to take out that player, collect the upgrade here. Now suddenly a 2v3 with full HP looks a lot more feasible for Eternal Fire to try and clutch this back, but it still is a bonus at the end of the day.
Yeah, very much so. Short dot goes out. Fabian still just going to be dancing around. Generator holding, waiting for this. 3 players on site. It's going to be very difficult, and they know exactly where the attention is. The paranoia primed, ready for the Fabian swim. Just waiting. And there it is, a corner spotted. The paranoia goes out. There's the swing, but Fabian's taken down. Ordaz goes down, and so does Sop, and the whole team crumbles. We were waiting for the setup, and it all falls flat.
Yeah, they just got ahead of that paranoia from Ordaz, and this is the second time we've seen Eternal Fire play around it perfectly there. And Fabian as well, not quite sure we had a fault line. We didn't have much of that breach kit either to stop or splinter those players, so they played it hand in hand without much contest here. And we mentioned, again, that forward fighting mentality here. I'm surprised that Eternal Fire got away with it this easily, right? That Izzy was able to get away, get some chip damage with all that utility coming forward. So again, they're getting away with their usual playstyle, but it was these kills honestly on the site, and that's kind of where you saw a disconnect from Sop as well, and his ability to support maybe Fabian on that site, and Ordaz as well disconnected. So it's just super impressive. Bonus converted. Only Sheriffs now in the hands of ULF.
Yeah, this is
a Stinger or two.
This is a little bit of a worry. And we've already seen the Stinger do magnificent work, but Disturbin, ooh, needs to be careful. There's the paranoia to come on out. Sop's not content with that. The fake out, and it works. They've been baited. They've been switched. They get out of dodge scot-free, and Skyland's there to try get a little bit of extra damage. Disturbin, though, still in a little bit of a problem zone. Still gets one more before going down here. Ordaz peeks on forward, finds an unfortunate fate, and Neki, what do you really want to do here? You're stuck, and they've not been able to wiggle out this position no matter what they've thrown at it. Neki spamming away, trying to connect the shots. It's all body shots, and even Izzy's available, but not needed.
Yeah, we didn't get to see the Izzy op this round. I'm sure it will come in handy a little bit later on for those first kills. But all in all, this round, I got to see that replay back because, again, we got to see Sturbin tested. Their anchor was impressive here. I'm surprised that Sop got outplayed there just a little bit. And we mentioned the follow-up from Audaz's paranoias have not been the greatest, so at least we got a few kills there. I feel like with these eco weapons to write home about on the ULF side, but all in all, this is where you're pushed, right? Ultimate starting to come online. ULF down 0-4 here.
Not a good start. And the thing is, they're being read, right? They're a team that's known for that textbook aggression, right? And it's just not being met in the way that they usually expect. It's not being sort of sites that are left with people idle fingers waiting. Stop peeking on out. Izzy with the op rings loud and clear. And it's a statement.
I said it, the Izzy versus Sop. I didn't expect it to be on the op, but that's IO's fight. Exactly. It shatters the silence here, and that shut down the overdrive as well, which probably could have been a nice entry tool for this team. So I think that's where ULF is also struggling, right? We're losing that duelist really early on a lot of these rounds without much setup or support from that breach, and that's what you expect out of this composition. So now, instead backpedaling, hoping again that it's Echo that can be that entry tool, that lurk player to find the difference. But the op is still repositioned here as well to keep that side of the map covered.
Indeed. Ordaz hanging around in mid, but they're not going to give them anything to work with, right? You've got your opening pick, you've got your advantage. Why would you squander that? Recon bot goes in. Spear's actually just going to let it tag on up. The fault line, and immediately the Hunter's Fury finds 2, though.
Did Easy not have a shield?
I
Why did
don't
he lose
think
that much
so.
damage?
Skylan, caught by the paranoia, cannot try and save his teammate, cannot swing for the trade. Skylan caught out by Echo. They've overwhelmed the site. And now you can see just Adamo running on over. Not really much you're likely to find now.
They've
Spike
res.
goes down, and there is the res available, but are they even going to be able to get to a body to get this unpunished is the real question. I don't
double
think
market
it's gonna
hold
happen.
and a swing on Boba prepared. There
Not
is
going to happen.
no way. Yeah, and there it is. Oh, finally getting a point on the board there, and it really did come out of that Hunter's Fury play, absolutely. Otherwise, there was no clear way onto a site, right? So that's where we finally got to see them building off of each other's kits there just a little bit, right? Faultline sets up that kill perfectly
Then
on
the recon
Spear,
bolt to
who
go
was
in as
anchoring
well,
in
yeah.
market, right? Like, it was... I'm surprised he didn't break it. He just tried to... maybe he expected a faster follow-up behind it, but there wasn't any, right? It was purely for information, and they also didn't have the Neon online to, like, follow it up that fast anyway, so small mistake had catastrophic impact, we'll put it
It's the
lightly.
butterfly effect, isn't it? You know, you step on a butterfly and suddenly the whole universe sort of falls apart.
Dizzy just got double pinged, that's all it was. That is absurd.
Difficult pill to swallow on that one.
And taking one last look at it as well here for the next round. Gets off to a bang. I mean, what did we miss? There's 3 players dead from ULF.
I am a little...
I think that we missed a chapter here, Affinity.
We missed a chapter, but we're going to pick it up.
Middle
It
paragraph.
seems like early aggression from Eternal Fire. Res comes on out. Things go from bad to worse for ULF.
Yeah, this is what it looks like. I'm gonna fill in the holes for you. I think what happened was there was an aggressive A fight. It looks like they get the kills, they get out, and they wall up to keep the players alive and get that resurrection back online. So I'd say that's a fair trade, and that's once again Izzy doing their job of finding first blood. That's my prediction. And we'll see if we get another replay or not. I'm hoping that's what but what we can't predict is Echo this deep undercover all the way in the defender spawn. You can see the team as a group trying to figure out where he is, and this is where he's had that profound impact, right? That 31, the max kills, and I think they're fortunate they only found 1 and not 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's very lucky, but look, it draws the attention away enough. If you can bait them away from A, if you can bait them back into spawn, you give Ordaz a way to work, but the issue is now shown face. Echo gets another one, and now they can kind of try pinch it down, but my worry is time's looking a little bit scary. Echo's gone down, so there's now no defense. The smoke has to be everything, immediately popping the overdrive, trying to bait this out again. Izzy's going to swing on round, it's wide, still expecting the double swing, and the issue is just cannot have eyes everywhere, so expecting of what will be is not dealing with the issue that is.
Oh, and a little bit of a timeout finally getting called here by ULF. I was expecting it maybe on the 0-4, but learning that they're a 1-5 team. And it's a great time when you look at the ults that are online that have been stockpiled here yet again. And I'm trying to figure out, again, we don't get to really see what that fight in the early round looked like, because that basically defined the rest of the round, right? Echo, I think, did really good damage control, trying to get this clutch through, Audaz as well, but again, when they're losing this like important key players at the start of the round, they need that bounce back. And it came off the Hunter Shrew we talked about last time. But you can't have that in your pocket every single time. So we need that sort of coordination from the get-go.
Yeah, we very much need to see that. And it's a very different ULF that we're looking for. Is that we're used to seeing them really aggressive, run in, find these kills very mechanically and cleanly, right? Is they're not being awarded anything for free, right? They're not actually being awarded anything. They're losing a lot of these opening jewels. Usually they're coming up against teams and they can just use sheer firepower to overwhelm them. That's what they've done with Eternal Fire in the past. It's not working this time. Eternal Fire often are just meeting them head on, going for these opening picks first, right? You know, the old adage, fight fire with fire.
Absolutely, and I mean, okay, this is I think the round that determines if Eternal Fire with I will say, you know, sprinkles, you know, just recognition in there is a very defense-sided composition. They could run away and have a stark advantage at the half, and finally it felt like ULF had a plan to counter this A main fight. But look at this, EF come out of it and they weren't fighting it this time around, right? The fake out immediately, yep, as I mentioned, the bait and switch back towards B main here, and somehow Sturban has still cleaned up the A side of the map.
I mean, it's just conditioning, and the issue is that they leave somebody hanging around, and that's it. They've not gone for any early aggression. They wait a little bit and then peek on out. But I think this has been completely read, right? You've heard nothing else towards that A side. The mid players are having a look. They're like, nope, we've not got anything on our end either. So now I'm thinking they're going to start to reinforce A. Drone's going out. Drone's not going to spot anything. The execute needs to be quick here Fast lanes in towards the site gives them a foothold, but they need to really take a little bit more space beyond the site, force them back. But the issue is trying to take the space. Spears found another one. Sturban's on top of it, all can see over the smoke. Izzy's found another kill, and there's nobody left on site. They're trapped. Spear peeks on out, and Echo, what can you do? You didn't even get to see the spike.
Yeah, these retakes are just clinical dissections, right? Sturban did go for kind of a hero's angle there first, finds the chip of damage, and then they immediately regroup with Izzy, so there's no trades available. And in the meantime, I feel like Spear has kind of flown under the radar. He's holding his own and solo kind of clearing every angle one at a time to open up the site for the rest of the players to reflood into. And he has yet to really fail in that regard. I mean, 9-2 right now. And the fact that he's, again, doing this on retakes, we mentioned how we were going to see these teams are, okay, give us space, retake it, or they're going to anchor and die. And Spear is clearly that retake machine right now. And we mentioned even the Cypher util from Echo on site's not enough to slow this team down right now. So it looks like in that discussion, the dominant EF half seems to be prevailing.
It does. I'm never going to count off down and out too soon. That'd be a big mistake to make. Overdrive comes on out. Anima's going to full stop. Finally, an opening awarded. Echo swings on out. Does only get one, but that's information if nothing else. Spear, they pass each other ships in the night, but Sop is aware. Doesn't even find the pick. Favian's going to steal that from under his nose. And Ordaz spotted a little leg of Izzy there. Sturban this time not going to be allowed over the top. The double smokes to give that buffer, give them that window of safety. Sop holding for Izzy here. Knows that there has to be a reposition, and there's the pick. And now Josh Sturber left and falls like the rest of his team. We said this, they're a team that it's not a great start, but you can't count them down and out. They're a team that very much, when they can get that momentum going, they can really landslide. I'm definitely questions above this. I think maybe just first game of the day. It's like when you make pancakes. I say this every time. You make pancakes, the first pancake never goes well. First pancake is always messed.
I guess, but I mean, at this rate, it's like you're going to run out of batter, aren't you? At least in this half. I mean, it's 6-2 right now. They still are sitting on like the Rolling Thunder, so I still think there's some left in the tank. And you even saw Stop body shooting and all, so the confidence is getting up. But so is the Viper's pit. They're forced them into this A site, forced them into the operator, but this is where the breach util is finally repressing his ability, or you would hope so.
They're so paranoid from that one round they lost, and there it is. The relay bolt is incredible. Rolling Thunder comes on out. It's going to catch everybody. Echo's got to the jump on over the top to get them onto site, and Echo just going to put smoke cage after cage down here to try and deny Sturban. Sturban's going to peek out, disrespects it, finds two. Sop not ready for the swing so quickly after. And Ordaz not expecting the reposition, lucky to still be alive, tagged up majorly, and Anima's going to swing from the other side. It's like whack-a-mole. Every time you think you've cleared one, another player pops up, and Favian is chasing Ghost left, right, and center. He can hear them around him. And that's it, 7-2. This is starting to maybe, I mean, it's been getting out of hand for a while, but it's starting to reach the point of, I want to say no return yet.
I mean, they already have the advantage at the half, so to a degree, the best return you can have is a 7-5. And
it's
the money, I'm pretty sure, is broken here, so that's not even going to really be an option. But what I'm impressed by is last round, I felt like we were going to see a copy of it, right? ULF were going to make it so that Eternal Fire had no way to convert the round back, right? It was going to be so catastrophic on the exec, there was nobody left to retake. And Sturban just played that perfectly, finds the two-piece, gets out, waits for Anima, and you can see that, like, Audaz was like, I need to get this back for my team, and just could not in time. So again, side exec was there, but the retakes right now have been king for Eternal Fire. So again, kind of broken by here for ULF again, trying to combat this A space.
We don't see them play very passively very often, but I think surely a change of pace has to come on through at some point, right? Anima is stuck between a rock and a hard place, but with Izzy finding the opening pick, it feels a little less scary. You got Skylan on the other side. There's the swing on out. It's a little bit messy, dare I say. And Favian, do you really want to peek this? Flash goes out. You've been spotted by all of the recon utility, though. Neki finds the pick on an overextending Anima, but Sturban immediately keeps the numbers advantage.
Audaz in the back lines, finds Spear, trying to find more on it. Is the apparent way it connects, but Sturban
Spike down A.
on the other side gives now the numbers back to Eternal Fire.
That's such an aggressive peek. And I mean, desperate times call for desperate measures, right? But that feels maybe a little bit too far of a cry.
Oh.
And this has been a little bit of the issue, is that Ordaz, I like what Ordaz is doing, right? But it's not enough in and of itself.
But that's the thing,
is,
it feels like the situation is forcing him to make those plays every round after round. Like, he's one of the last players alive trying to have this impact. And this time it was with the From the Shadows that he tried to set that play up. But again, even though it slipped through, even though he finds, right, who has been a key player like Spear, there was just so much of a numbers advantage on that site because they had themselves bolstered with Animal's Wall. It was great.
And they've not got by here either.
Yeah, they kind of like forced that one through by the skin of their teeth, and now
why?
they get pulled. And then
why are we
again,
doing this
Izzy
again?
gets the first blood again.
Again, just so many, and it's always the same angle. It's not like anything's really changed on this one. Wall goes out. Neki very concerned somebody may be playing on top of it. Alas, unfounded concerns for now. Drone's going to go over the top and is getting get a whole load of information. Spear lines up 3 off the back of that drone. Neki gets 1, but it is just consolation prizes.
They need a spike still, yeah.
Yep, spike that is in no man's land. That is unretrievable. And yeah, you've got a weapon, but
I mean, Izzy has a main cover. There's a high-low in Link. Yeah, the best way you could go would say elbow wrap around back towards Ali, but you have 50 seconds left and you're just double swinging into 2 and 1 on and off angle. So there it is, Eternal Fire returning friendly fire towards Sup here, who was the one that started this whole shenanigans. And coming into the last round, we might need some Curse believers in chat, because ring the 9-3 alarm bell. It could come in with the buy now aligning for ULF.
Reverse sweep, they're doing it for the plot. That's my cope. There we go. There's my cope to the ULF fans.
Hey, the storyline said that this would go to a map 3, even if Eternal Fire won this map.
We were looking at that because we were talking about the map 3, but that's our worry though, right? Is if it goes to map 3, is it all futile? Is the script laid out before us with it going to Abyss?
We'll see, we'll see. It could even be a 2-0 for Eternal Fire with how they're playing right now.
If I speak now.
We'll curse it. Just
Anima this time on the operator, still peeking into mids, and they're still not doing anything about it. Wall goes out, the relay bolts are good, but there's nothing they can do to follow them up here. Another one with the Hunter's Fury, which seems to have been the catalyst, but they line up for Sturban.
It's literally Lambs of the Slaughter off of that barrier wall, and Izzy, I mean, they were running a double op, right? Animo at the Vandal in the back pocket, and that crunch is perfect to keep them contained. Lock in double digits at the half for Eternal Fire, and boy, oh boy, what a half. And you're going to have to be hoping that this is a defense-sided composition, but I also need to praise Eternal Fire, right? This was the last round of the half, right?
Yeah.
And so you expected ULF to make a big switch up, which they did, going for a really fast B split, and suddenly your 2 A side anchors and your Sage and your Omen are playing B, and they both hold it down perfectly. Like, they are just inside ULF's head right now. And now coming into the next, like, it is do or die, this pistol round, essentially, for ULF Esports.
Yes, this is... And we talked about it. They're hit and miss with the pistol rounds. We've had one miss already, so our options are all hit. So I'm hoping, because it would be nice to see something a little bit more from this map. Spear going for a little bit of an opening look. 3 players over towards A, how they're usually running this. Drone spotted, taken down. It's going to be mid-control completely and entirely for ULF, and they're not even going to fight this. They're just going to let them have it. Play these extremities.
No one's directly holding top mid. That was my biggest concern. Little gap there now that we see the backtracking happening there from Soft, but it's too late. And the barrier wall's up. They're already into Boba.
And that's going to make rotation so difficult as well. Relay bolt is great. Izzy gets the first, though. Is looking for a little bit more. Echo can be heard. The one way, they're not going to fall for it. Swing on out 3 of them. Echo's going to full stop. Desperately tries to make a hero play. Isn't going to find anything at all. Favian gets 1. But again, it's merciless from Eternal Fire. Spikes down. They've got so much space beyond the site to play with here as well. Smoke goes out for the left-hand side, which really funnels them in one direction towards this retake. And that's exactly where they're going to look.
The crunch from Audaz and Favian is nice here, but they don't clear out the stage. Audaz, insane, but Favian on Spike sticking it to have the shots through the dark cover, not fading. And I was about to say pros now in tier 1, don't fake, but Starvin has basically driven the dagger into the heart of ULF, the Wolf.
It's the hope that kills you, right? You see the 3 kills come flooding through. You see the 3 kills and you're like, yeah, maybe there's a way that they can win this. It's still a very long road ahead of them, right? But I think you're right. The crunch is really amazing, is that they put the smoke out to try funnel them in one direction. The crunch comes on through. It's just kind of... It's a difficult one. I don't even know what you say to this. This has just been utter annihilation.
Yeah, I mean, one off from that point, and you had the buy. Couldn't quite see if ULF went for the Stinger Force or not, but at this point it felt like you had to, and it just looks like they are relying on these Sheriffs. Gonna play out for the OT potential here unless things go catastrophically wrong for Eternal Fire. And with that start, with the trio clear onto the duo top mid, it feels like we're trending towards that unavoidable future.
It really does, doesn't it? It's... Ordaz is holding for this, maybe a nice pickled spear, but then the onslaught's going to come, right? So many people here that they're not really going to allow you to isolate more than a one fight. Needs Echo to activate, finds one, spots so many heads, and now the attention turns a little bit, but Ordaz has gone down.
Yeah, I mean, Eternal Fire bought, like, I think double Vandals in this round. Like, they are, like, trying to drive it home before you mentioned that ULF can have that kind of comeback turnaround after a slow start. And Favian, somehow isolating Spear alone, is trying to follow down that path, trying to set them up for, again, what would be a terrible round to lose. Echo, Guardian collected on a wrap, unbeknownst through elbow. There's two back turn!
There's a world anima, so much to hold here. They need this timing to be perfect. Spots Favian, it's going to be the call, yep. And that's lovely. And it's a miracle, dare I say. Yeah. It is a very, very tiny life vessel on a very, very large ocean. But they're hanging on. They're hanging on to the door for dear life.
Like, this gets them at least like another round, like, right? Like, this gets us probably towards an 11-5-ish when another buy will come through. And it really did come off of, again, this aggressive spy cam that set up Echo on that deep A main lurk. It kind of catches Eternal Fire off before they can get this full A pivot, and that Guardian, this timing through elbow that went completely unexpected. And again, they don't have a Turtle Life Sentinel, right? It's a Viper and a Stage. They have no flank watch, and that's something I'm sure Eternal Fire is not going to mistake again heading into the next. But Izzy did have a lighter buy, so we have a Hero Vandal online, but again, look at this. ULF should get to a fourth.
Should do here. Izzy having a little bit of a look, not going to spot anything, but then regrouping immediately with the team. Very heavy committed towards A, and actually there's a chance for them to isolate these fights here if SOP chooses to extend much further.
Oh, they're waiting for it, right? One way down, we're going to see like 3, 2, 1, everyone swing, or Izzy take the fight alone and SOP gets some revenge there, right? Izzy had the light shield with that Hero Vandal. I'm not sure their successor is going to have much of a better shield situation, so SOP's going back for seconds with the Outlaw.
I mean, why wouldn't you, right? They're not going to be there, and that's going to be information in and of itself to work with. That's going to alert the B players who are already having a look at trying to converge on mid, stopping this before it can even get started. But Skyland's found a little bit of a pick here. Now the numbers are even. And
they baited them into that fight so much.
And look at the rotates. SOP's got another kill, and we can play the numbers advantage. Almost caught off there, lucky to get away with their life and actually put so much space between them. That, however, is another little bit of an issue because that raises so much question mark about that entire quarter of the map. That entire quadrant now, they've got no eyes on. So they're going to have to play contact on mid here.
And Echo, he's been playing very cautious, right? He doesn't want to take these fights head on, unlike SOP, who, again, with the Outlaw, makes you astronomically high chances at winning the flip engagement. Top mid flip off the trap wire, Prom saw it as with that paranoia, and Favian would have come in for the crunch if the fight wasn't already done and dusted. ULF in semi-flawless fashion there, minus that beta kill with the Hero Rifle, are able to get that fourth across just as predicted.
Yeah, but it's good to see even on these rounds that Eternal Fire is still putting up a little bit of a fight, right? Is that even on the rounds where they've got a single hero Vandal, is that it's not just a sort of clean sweep. They are still putting up a little bit of a fight, still giving us questions. Like they go for these duels, they keep the numbers relatively even for a large portion of that round. Here we are into the real shaky territory, right? ULF win here, they really give themselves a leg up. And we talked about this, the comeback potential from this team. It has to be here, though.
Okay. And we have Anima one off from the Resurrection here as well, so getting this B main space is huge. I think they're avoiding or at least delaying the A main fight, understanding that's exactly where SOP, one of their win cons, has been playing super aggressive. I'm curious to see what Neki and Echo with this high-low can achieve as well here. You can see Izzy and Skyland are trying to bait it out.
Trying their best, but they will not succeed. And SOP's got a lot of info in mid. The moment they go for this, the recon not going to spot anything. Again, maybe a little bit of a misnomer, however. So I was waiting for this. I love this position from Audax. Can immediately take contact and has space to back away, not to be overrun there. And knows nothing immediate has come, so got a little bit of timing to try call over reinforcements if he needs them. Actually, still going to do this solo. And here comes the swing. Slow, it's prolonged. They're really dragging us out. The swing, the slide isn't going to find anything. They go 1 for 1. The resurrection immediately gives them, again, the equal opportunities here. Fabian with 1 swings on. Out Izzy immediately to trade the recon ball, the relay ball, sorry. Absolutely amazing. Fastlane's just to try keep himself alive. Izzy has managed to get onto site, but is isolated. Needs teammates from the sides to come on in. Stop, missed shot, Anima, Izzy. They need to find their spike goes down with 10 seconds left.
They're both 1 HP.
This is the issue though, is no idea where they are.
No
Recon bolt, yeah, no 1 gen, no idea where the second is. Anima really needs to be...
Do they have time to wrap all the way to main?
Should do, but it's going to be tight.
I mean, but Skyline then just tucks away and plays Ring Around the Rosie, right? Even
They've
if
got no idea though.
Timing.
And you know that one's still gen and is likely to remain gen.
They're playing Trigger Discipline. Oh no.
Oh, just about missed Skyland. It's going to have to be so quick. Just shoot, just spray, run around the corner. And there it is, Skyland holds on for dear life, 21 HP.
Exactly as mentioned. I said it. I'm like, yeah, he's going to get Anima 100%, but Skyland's going to tuck, play down the time, play down the angle, and they had that opportune jump. And I've noticed, I don't feel like either attacking side has really won this A main fight early on or had a successful lurk player. But yeah, that late refight delayed that you mentioned that avoided Aldaz was really effective in just getting onto the site, getting the spike down. And again, that is the round that locks in 12 here. It'll be 8 in a row to get to overtime for ULF if they want a chance to come back. But this is Eternal Fire's pick, and they're burning bright.
They are indeed. And this time, A main, everyone kind of dancing around the issue a little bit. Ordaz clinging to the corner a little bit more closely this time. Into the shadows comes on through. Gonna get some information. Ooh, lucky choice to cancel it last second. That could have been a little bit of a problem, but they got the information, they've drawn the attention. But Spears watching for this. We talked about the flank watch, and the flank has been caught. There's a secondary flank coming on through here as well, but they're still holding for it. They still know it's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, they've now kind of realized that there's this deep spike, and they like to clear deep into B. And I don't expect them to know that they would pause lobby, and I thought we were going to see Spears set up a re-wrap back to B, but no. It's just delay, hope that Echo was going to win that, and then refight into elbow, which at least Aldaz and Fabian are winning, or were winning, and now suddenly it is just up 1v3 for the map!
There it is, first shot missed, swings out the classic, the overdrive comes online, swings, and you see the will, you see the way, but it does not happen. The path closed up before you, and 13-4. Eternal Fire, they don't, when you're going through these runs, to go 3-0, you're going to meet some of the top teams, right? But no, you're right, underestimation coming through. And what I'm seeing from ULF here is a fundamental switch, and now nothing's locked in yet, but there's a couple of things that I've got question marks about.
I feel like, you know, we set this up, and then we totally forgot about the blend draft, I feel like, a little bit, because I'm seeing a lot of agent overlaps here. Particularly the Viper, I think, is a huge one for Eternal Fire, right? They kind of figured out themselves. They really liked this double controller, or sorry, this double initiator with Skyline on the Sky and Spear on the Gecko. And now they're having to switch to an Astra, which starving on the Astra, by the way, is one of my favorite roles on maps like Abyss. So I'm okay with this entirely, right? And you think about it, that Astra's not going to be banned no matter what on Abyss because it's from your map pick that it's banned. So the Sunset composition for EF would be banned if we get to Abyss. And this bind composition would be banned for ULF if we get to Abyss. Yep. And you mentioned a big identity shift here for ULF. They did test out the double duelist, right, with Fabian on the Uele and Sop on the Yoru. So I'm okay with this switch up, right? Sop's been that primary solo duelist. Fabian actually does frag out insanely well in the Sky, and I think it gives just as much information off of the Guiding Lights as maybe the Yoru kit would offer at times.
Yeah, I think so. And what we're saying, we talked a lot about this. We've got Adama coming in, which we haven't seen in the Project Blender and in the Blender draft at all. And so the fact that they're looking to lock in, I was going to say, we usually see the Brimstone come out from Brave. We did see the Astra come out once versus... we did see the Astra come out once, but the thing was that was in place of a Brimstone that they played in the previous map, right? So this is a very different look from them. I'm a little bit worried, though, because the bind win rate in this tournament for Eternal Fire, 80%.
Yeah, they have
4 of the 5.
4 out of 5, exactly. My only concern, though, is I think all of those times, or the majority of those times, were with that Viper. And I think the Astra, in my mind, I think it'll be fine on the attack side. I think it'll set up their lurks just as easily. It's still global utility usage. I'm worried about the defensive hold at the B side, right? You look at those toxic screens, how deterring they are out of Hookah, out of Garden, and I think they're going to have a really, really hard time. And that is the side that they are starting on here, right? So we look at last map, how, again, they started on the defense. They got the ball really well with the defense side of comp. I think that is going to be lacking here. But ULF didn't win a singular pistol in the last map. So
the Jew one, right? That's how much works.
Yeah,
The Jew one, right?
I guess this is their pick. So we'll see. I mean, we're not getting any early contests here out on the map. Maybe we'll see the Waylay scale and flank out of shower, but that's up to Izzy to decide.
A little bit of a look, but there is immediately blocking all line of sight. The Orbs come out to give them that space to disrespect the smokes. Naturally, Sturban going to manage to get away just about with their life, sucking in air on that one just to try slip around the corner. Izzy's going to find the first pick. Stop holding for this. No, knows Izzy has dipped away and can just hold off this one angle. But there it is. Sturban peeks on out. Lovely flash from Dizzy there. Wingman trying to get the stun on through. Isn't quite going to connect, and that's going to maybe a little misleading. But Fabian with one instantly traded. An Eternal Fire, they continue their winning ways.
Before we break down the pistol, a beautiful flash from Dizzy. What about the person wielding it? What about the trainer behind it? I mean, that was great setup from Spear. Come on.
Beautiful setup from Spear.
But yeah, no, I mean, just the coordination here. And also, I obviously like the pistol, so I don't want to tear apart the Wolf that is too fast, right? But you have to have shower presence. You have to have shower clearance. Or Izzy and any players that they stack there are going to have that continual ability to re-pressure sight. Yeah, that too, exactly. And you can see they're starting to address that, but it's going to be a head-on collision with the Outlaw.
Yeah, Izzy was so good with the opening picks. There's one unscoped. And there it is. Through the smoke, the slight adjustment finds Neki. Orb's going to be captured, but it is pity points in comparison to what Eternal Fire have kicked this off with. Lovely flash around the corner. Does manage to find Sturban, but that's going to be it. Really needed some more activation from Echo here, and unfortunately just another peek on out. Izzy getting it done. Scope weapon doesn't even need the scope.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, Spear, I know they're the flex player here, but I was like, oh, Viper to the get-go. I'm curious to see how that's going to go, and it has been just really, really fluid so far here. And Izzy, I mean, playing off of Sturban there. That was a great support player there as well. I like the groupings that they're doing while accommodating this Astra out of the Blender draft. It's looking promising so far, and they've only taken it a step further by completing the bonus with a few additional Vandals. So this is another really scary third round convert potential.
Yeah, and they've done it once. They'll do it again. Izzy slowly leading the charge. There's a lovely crossfire.
Yeah.
I'm still worried, though. They've been really good at dismantling these crossfires, and the wall goes up to isolate the fight here. There has been a gun barrel spotted, and that means that the wall goes down. They crunch together, and there it is. Skyland Spit, but we talked about it.
Skyland full blinded Echo there. That's why that crossfire failed. Like, they were out in the open. They were, in, vicinity of each other, but you just couldn't see
Go
it.
forth,
Now, the backpedal, though, is going to determine this round if Sturban can hold on or not. That'll be a spike plant. Would have been.
Yeah, would have been, and there it is. All three mopped up.
I am so sorry, Sturban, for doubting you and saying this defensive hold of the B side was going to be weaker because you weren't on the Viper. That is all I'm going to say. And I think that's,
it was a valid point to raise, and then it is no longer a valid point.
You just let them in anyways, and then they still found success.
Yeah, see, this is the thing. You don't need to keep them out if you just want to kill them.
I also saw a mosh, I think, from over the top of Hut towards Garden. That's a great touch because that kind of substitutes for the snake bite that you typically would have had there as well. I mean, usually then you would have had the double molly instead, but that's where it's a nice substitution, and I think that's what we're seeing. I think that most of them on Blender draft is controller substitutions, but all right, any worries about the defense being weak have been quelled, and now it's ULF in serious trouble. Sheriffs, a singular sniper rifle on hand, trying to get a thrifty to kick things off, and stop pass.
Yep. Stop's got one, but it's been immediately refounded. Sturban swings on out for another. And playing on the other side of the map now. Complete switch up. We were talking about the B side hold. Now doesn't even need it. Sop does find more, but you can't be relying on this. And look how much space has been taken by that mosh pit. Isolates the two of them either side of the door on showers. Ordaz, though, still on site, is pushed forward. Bought them the space to really work with here. And is still kicking and screaming.
Oh no, Spike is alone, headed towards the B side. They thought they pulled a Fugel, but Skylin anchored and now has Spike alone. Less than a minute left. They're fortunate that the Viper can have safe passage to cross, but now Skylin are positioning so close into Hookah. Echo, there's no way he expected it. He does!
Oh, what a shot! Spear does find the trade, knows that it's likely to be a second, and there it is, the head just found, and it's a mighty, magnificent shot, but it means nothing.
That was a great attempt there, I'll say it, out of ULF on that eco, but I mean, it was more out of mistakes, right? It felt like from EF, maybe their confidence also surging in their own blood. Like this fight here, I think it was supposed to be the same refight, like off that Dizzy that comes over, Sturban fights like they did and previously, and it's just that recall timing on the Astra Star not there. Again, you don't play Astra Poly typically on this map. It's more that Viper in standard tournaments, so.
Yeah,
around with it, but
we've seen the Astra come out from them, but we've only ever seen it on Brave, and we only ever saw it as you know, desperate times, desperate measures.
And now Sturban's, I said my favorite agent for him, and he's proving it's 6-3 right now.
And Izzy's got the op. We saw how that went. So many opening picks that were just being gifted. They were bow tied. They were left under the tree. It was handed to them on a silver platter. And I've got some potential concerns about that. Going into a little bit of a technical pause though, we get a nice little flyover of the map as well. And make sure that everything's fine on both ends of the team. I'm sure potentially a couple of things that looks like everyone's getting back ready to go, so it should be very short. That's why I like very short tech pauses. Kudos and big up to the admin team who have been immaculate with these.
Absolutely. I mean, you want to keep the iron hot, right? If you are Eternal Fire, keeping the chef's analogy going strong here with this series they're cooking up. I mean, if you stop the momentum with a tech pause, it would not be great. And they're not even slowing down, right? Izzy now has the operator once again poking and prodding showers, which ULF is going to have to figure out how to solve. But for now, it's just a late fade lurk, a little Prowler to push them off the angle, and it's a really aggressive hop off the waylay A.
It is the dog for the information, the Prowler as well. They've already taken backside control here. Stops ahead of all of the smoke. Sturban does find the trade, and that is them hanging on. Needs Skylin to activate here, but they've already kind of got a clock on this. The issue is Spike's not gone down yet, and there's the swing out. Sturban needed to find that. Skylin does find the trade. Flash around the corner. Isn't going to yield anything just to keep them off of his back a little while longer. The orb goes down, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky. They still need to deal with Anima.
And they're so worried about Skylin as well, right? Like you can see, they finally test the waters and finally get the plant down, but the answer is immediate out of EF too.
And there it is through the smoke, face first into Echo. Anima has an answer, spraying away, gets one more, clinging on. Favian needs this. Here's the drop on down. Actually might be able to get the drop on them, gets the timing round the corner. Both back to turn, they line up and the transfer is perfect.
Don't even try.
Oh, and that is how ULF get on the board. Heroics from Favian, who I said, even though he's not in the duelist anymore, is just as aggressive, just as bloodthirsty. And boy, we got to see it in that clutch moment. This was a good start, I'll say. Like, stop, perfect use of the light speed to get over and get that backside pressure. But it was this moment where things started going wrong for me. It was in action, a little passive like approach of just getting the spike down, holding where they were, instead of refighting to claim that space, where it put Favian in this position where he had to get the 1v2 clutch. And you don't want to be in those positions, so kudos to getting them on the board. But again, things need to be fixed and pointed out. And now EF is just taking the fight straight to them.
Exactly, clutch means something's gone wrong, but look at that, Echo Neki. They are waiting for this, the over-aggression punished, finally at least. And here we go, the flash to go on over the top. Skylin can hear it.
They're going A, of course.
Yeah,
look at your Viper.
You know. This is just a matter of when they kill Skylin. This is just a timing thing. Should be.
Who gets the honor?
Oh, the flashbang.
It is Echo.
Oh, is it?
It is Echo.
Yes, there we go.
And honestly, to me, that round showcases exactly why ULF waited last round. They want that refight. They're expecting that refight from Eternal Fire in some of these swing moments, and it usually isn't coming from Eternal Fire. So in these moments, again, I'm going to ask Eternal Fire, like, I don't want them to overfight either, right? I think, the Waylay can lend to it really well with Izzy, and that's how Izzy likes to play, especially with the Operator, but that was just a one round, I think, off play off of the convergent paths. That was the goal, and it unfortunately just did not meet the standards. So next round now, suddenly we might have a close game on our hands with ULF having all 5 ultimates, and it's a broken by a save, right, for Eternal Fire here.
It is indeed. And now we can see them really switching up the tone. They went way too aggressive last time. They're maybe potentially overcompensating on this one. They stack onto this A site, and actually it's an A site that's looking particularly tempting to ULF to hit here. Neki having a little bit of a look, waiting for the smoke to go down first. They've realized it's a bit too quiet. They're going to send somebody else towards B. We fresh the smoke, so they are just going to have to try to get this done. But Neki's found a timing to get ahead of it using the wall. Prowler goes on out. It's going to clear a lot of space. Durban way closer than they expect. Echo, there's the first, falls to the Sheriff. Neki, it's a messy spray, just trying to put some space, trying to escape. Actually keeping the numbers pretty even. Stop directly into their face with the shorty. Neki's got one as well. What's the point in buying these weapons if you can get it done with the sidearm? Spike goes down. And Anima's not really got too much of a way back.
The one player without a Sheriff.
The one player without a Sheriff.
Honestly, I thought that round was about to tip in Eternal Fire's favor on the eco, and then suddenly 2 shorty kills come through, right? And that's all just sinking their teeth and saying, yep, we're not letting this one slip through the cracks. And Anima, I mean, not much you can do here.
No, not even allowed a right-click kill. Not even allowed that. No weapon into the next round. Nothing to nada. But it's good to see, though, right? It's good to see the... I was a little bit worried when we saw the first 4 rounds on the board. History starting to repeat itself. But no, they've really got a handle on this one. And a lot of it is it's just looking a lot more clean on the kills.
Not even just a handle on it. It's the fact that they converted, denied the Thrifty without investing any of these ultimates. Often you can see, like, overcommitment of those. Again, this is a really important swing round. And I'm glad that they didn't, because now they have full force to come into another buy, another fragile buy with light shields and regen shields on Eternal Fire's side, and that would tie the game.
It would. They've got everything at their disposal in the arsenal to try get it done. Opening fight's going to be denied. A little bit of a tussle here, but nobody overcommitting. And you can see both teams actually pulling their hand back from the stove now. This flash.
It's a trap. And they're not going to bite.
Bit of information.
And it's just like there's a lot of potential built up here, right? You can see the systems in place, ready to react from Eternal Fire. It's just which one gets triggered first, and do they succeed in it?
Trying to bait out any utility they can, but there's the opening pick.
Right there.
This sets up the Astra quite well, though.
For a lovely little flank. Needs to be pretty quick, though. Seekers come on out. That's going to be the activation. Nightfall as well. Gives them all of the info that they need, and it's so much information. And as they try and retreat, as they try and fall back, knowing full well the site is overwhelmed, they lose. They know that there's a flank, and the spike has gone down. It's being held here. Knows that Sturban's hanging around somewhere. It falls again.
Why doesn't Echo go cave to try and help recover the spike? And I was concerned that Sturban gave it up too easily, but now Echo has to invest the pit just to recover the spike, just to get back to A. And in the meantime, we might even see Bolivian still fall to the double rotate that's come out from EF, just like that.
And the stun slows this all down. It's perfect.
Disaster.
It's such a good read. It's like, such a good call from Eternal Fire.
Salutes up. Thank you, Izzy, for your sacrifice. Isn't that crazy?
Izzy.
The one player that falls, the first blood against Eternal Fire, is what set up that entire round-breaking move from Sturban.
Yeah, it's... The fact that it falls a second time, you really, really need Neki to win that fight, right? Neki wins that fight.
Win this one.
Or Fabian to win that one, right? But I think Neki wins that fight.
I agree.
Very different situation.
They get back to
right?
A, they have the 2v2,
exactly.
It's perfect.
Everything's fine. Life is peachy. Life could be dreams.
Now money's repaired for EF, and ULF used a lot of ultimates without any conversion. And this should be confidence revitalized, right? And Izzy showing that off for the first blood.
Oh, and there's a second kill coming on through Sturban, not far behind. The smoke's come on through. Dash ahead actually isn't going to deter Sturban at all. And there it is. The sky opens up, hails down. It's not going to do anything but take space. Does manage to retrieve the spike here for Sop, but the issue is you might get a plant if you're lucky. I think maybe they just try run this one down, right? Actually, no. They pull back, they wait. So Spike will go down and give Sop a position to not only plant, but to get into a post plant here. There's a little bit of time.
Converging paths online as well. But again, it's that stop Izzy had done if they had decided to challenge it to CT instead. Go for the trigger discipline angle, gambling all their eggs in one basket to tuck Cubby, and they have been spotted.
You need the converging paths to destroy the attention because the issue is you're being pressed. There's the kill on the front. Now all eyes forward, but can't quite find it. The high-low reigns supreme again.
I liked the idea, right? If both players are hindered, they can't get the trade effectively enough, you stray transfer up. But yeah, no, I think just that extra time we saw Eternal Fire wait is what got that round through the through it all, right? And through the half, too, 6-3. They at least are guaranteed a tie, and knowing how the last map went, I think they're going to be gunning for more. And also, does ULF even have a buy this round now? I don't think they do.
If there is a buy, I don't think it's going to be a good
pretty
one.
It's not going to be pretty. It's like you rushed out of the house with like...
Like
no,
your buttons are slightly, you know, you've done one button up too high.
Oh,
You're right.
there it is. Yep, a Guardian, a Bulldog, light shields askew.
There's an op, right? It's a bit of a glass
This feels like
cannon.
they need it, though, to counter Izzy.
Yeah, they need something because Izzy's been amazing and so consistent as well.
Well, Izzy, again, forward challenge while on the waylay. You've seen, again, this kind of double initiator set up towards B long. They try to fight forward if they know they can't anchor down the site as effectively without especially the Sky Seekers that they used last time they got heavily pressured there.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Again, Izzy, talked about it. Need to find a counter to Izzy on the wrong side of the map. Not got anything working.
I'm surprised they haven't been able to shut Izzy down. That's what I thought was going to happen here in this head-to-head between ULF and EF. And yeah, no solution means no round. I mean, they haven't even got in close to his side. They finally are converging towards a B-split.
Spear hit. Trapped a little bit, has been given all of the options by his team to try and escape. Unfortunately, Orda is going to find that pick, makes things a little bit more difficult. Anima just desperately trying to delay the inevitable. And there they go, peek onto site. Skyland's got the first, and as they peek out through the smoke, they disrespect it. And the issue is they got no line to sight, they don't know what's going on, and they just get crushed.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of tunnel visioning, I think, on Anima's position since it was known, tucked away in Cubby, and then Skyland gets perfect timing to play that off of each other. Like, perfect little tag team trade at nature we just saw right there. And I think Skyland as well, the ability to get both a garden and that hookah kill, kudos to him as well, right? The newest player on the team, 10-5, just starting to trail behind Sturban. And if the last round bye wasn't considered broken, this one is shattered.
This definitely is. I mean, a Sheriff, a Bucky. It reeks of desperation, unfortunately. It reeks of, well, we want to do something. Yeah. And they've got nothing in the tank, nothing in the ultimate tank, nothing in the money tank, nothing in the momentum tank. They've got nothing online for them right now is the issue. They've not been able to put rounds together consecutively. And here they are. They're already going to get crunched on. They take down Sturban, which is a huge pick to find. But Izzy's already behind them. They've got no showers control. Izzy finds a second, switches to the side, finds a third. And now 3 versus 2. Finally, they've get the trade. Spike trying to get it down. That could have been the kill. Skyland finds that it's all over. Now Anima has to go huge. No, somebody's there. Spams through the boxes. That's the spike getting dropped. And now 1 versus 1. So much to do. Time on hand, though. Now I'm going to find somewhere a little bit safer to plant. But there's been so much time for a reposition. They know Anima's going to be one of 2 places likely. And you've got to take a guess at where
they heard it.
Be coming from. And I think they heard.
The little hop reveals Spike was planted over towards Truck. They, in fact, were running away. Anima is expecting Sop to fight super far forward, and he's kind of correct in that assumption.
Creeping slowly. Anima's got such a task on hand. Spots the edge of the gun barrel, though. And there it is. The 1 versus 1 clutch comes on through. And both of our jaws, everyone's jaws on the floor there. A little bit of a spray. Go on, why don't you celebrate? Because that is 8 at the half guaranteed. And that's depending on what ULF can even bring into this last round.
And they recovered the operator, too. If you
exactly.
didn't extra insult to injury there, Izzy will get it back. I mean, the fact that we're seeing Izzy also TP and get away with this is just criminal here, right? Like, it's one issue when you're fighting into him, like posted up on the A side and can't dislodge him. But the fact that he started out on the opposite side of that, didn't get the opportunity to get the first blood, and then has a round-breaking play like that.
And the fact that Izzy only goes down because he's checking behind. They don't have anything flanked. He's only checking because he's worried that ULF has got some master
Not
plan.
again. Okay. I liked Eternal Fire changing things up for the last round on the last map, but last time they went for an aggressive converging paths play, they didn't win the round. So I'm glad he held it. I'm glad they changed the plan. Yes,
very much. Top over the top there. It's going to scare everyone away. Got the judge, run the corner. A fair bit of space. Converging path comes through.
It's used defensively.
It is, and I like it. I like it a lot because it does the job. Sturban finds the first pick. It delays the spike going down. More util forced on out. The concuss, I think Sturban just caught himself on it.
How many did this just attain through the teleporter? Oh, it only got 1. I thought it got like 2 or 3.
It could have been a world of hurt there. Sturban waiting for the peek on out. Teleporter noise is going to be heard, but Echo needs to find something. Needed to be the distraction to just thin the herd. Huge kill. And here it is, Anima. Another one. And Fabian just jumping on out. All reinforcements are gone. And there's the swing on out. The B site hold, we were worried about it. And it's immaculate. 9-3, they're looking better and better.
Hey, I mean, it's better than ULF's last map.
Don't.
With the 10-2, it's the 9-3 curse. But again, like the rotations that they're doing, they did this half were so nice, right? Like there was one round they rotated into a solo Skyline. This round it was a solo Anima. Echo's staying was smart. Again, Viper backstab, typical. The Seekers that came up from Skyline to confirm it wasn't going to be a fake rotate back, that catch Echo is insane. And the fact that now this is multiple times that a single anchor on a site has gotten multi-kills and stopped around in time for rotations to come through, that needs to be fixed by ULF moving forward, whether it's in this map, in the series in a bit, or in this kickoff, if you get eliminated here.
Yes. It's very much like they're used to being able to bully the anchor, and the anchor is bullying them back now, and that's not something that they had accounted for, it would seem. Anima shows a little bit of his face, will be taken down, but Skyline immediately with a response. Ordaz, though, wants to keep this player advantage. Izzy jump on over the top, is trying to draw the attention away for Spear to come on through, and there it is. Echo waiting, dancing around the edge of the smoke, toying with their food. Izzy finds more. Wingman to plant gives them the opportunity to have a little bit more presence to hold for Neki, knowing likely coming from that B site.
Oh. And this was going to be a needed clutch
to
kick them off to double digits, and that is
0-4.
Yeah, that is 4 pistols on the side of Eternal Fire. They can never get themselves out of these uncomfortable positions. They can never get off on the right foot. It feels like ULF just have not been able to get like. The thing we can talk about is you called it a miracle that they won the second round bonus like denial on Sunset. That's probably the only good thing they've done the entire series.
And
so,
my reputation, my track record of sucking at predictions seems that it might be continuing. You know what? I've got Copium. I'm hoping they're going to lock in. There's still time for the great lock-in at 25. Not long left in the year, but it could be now. Unfortunately, Anima with the opening pick, it feels like it's written. And here it is. They all go through the teleporter. They're all just going to be pincered and pronged and poked to death here. And actually, that's going to slip past them.
Oh.
They just slipped past. Are they aware? They knew somebody was there. They took somebody down.
But still.
They've got a sense.
I mean, yeah, Spear is just kind of baiting it out here, going back to re-clear it. Ready with the wingman as soon as the door opens. Echo, though. That is creative. I liked it.
Pointer it's due, and there we go. The wingman comes on now, and it's a distraction.
It's a door stopper.
It's a door stop. Holds the door open. Flashbang as well. Distracts the attention. Skyland's got another. And ULF falling apart at the seams. I mean, sure, you could make an argument that there's a little bit of a pincer here, but the spike's gone down. It's so weak. And they've clocked onto your every move. The flash goes over just to really keep this heaven position locked out.
Yeah.
And rotating spear just to go proactively deal with it, you know?
And
get ahead of it.
Orbs, absolutely. But they did again on the aggressive end to try and convert the third. So try and keep every player they can alive, keep this flawless, and stop running for the hills, trying to die to Spike here. Might take a few down with him to the Spike. Yeah, that is, I don't know if that's worth the 2 kills. I'm not gonna lie. That is a pretty penny of weapons lost.
Yes. Maybe at this point it's psychic damage, right? Maybe it's just psychological warfare. Is that you never want to count any team out, right?
Like they just Neck just looked like he was done, right? Like running it down. Haunt hasn't even gotten the detect off, and you're getting maybe it's a miscom there with the Viper wall too, which also shows team communication breaking down. Like it's a difficult position. And I don't think this is the goal any of us expected to see in the server, and it is not their standard. We can say 100%.
Yeah, this is not what we usually see from this team. This feels very much
and then this is a prime
sluggish.
This is like EF again. They have played games for the past 2 days, right?
Yes.
And they're still playing games now.
Yeah, they are indeed. And here we go. We've got the op holding a very proactive. And look, they're pushing even further. And there's only one player here. I like the idea, actually.
I
don't
too.
mind it, as long as Sturban doesn't pull off something ludicrous.
This is Sturban.
It is Sturban, and Sturban's been having an absolute mighty game.
Aww.
There it is. That is all of the control that they need, because they know that there's only one angle this can be attacked from, but they've
Now
left an
how you
opening.
cleared shower is the question. I needed to see some proc to do from Eternal Fire, and they don't get any of it. Izzy, Anima, I mean, you take a few with the spike plant here, and you have deep spawn control that maybe could piece off the Brimstone rotating over, but no way they win this round. No way.
They get ahead of
Audace.
Sop luckily has it under control. Anima, difficult angle. Here's the footsteps. Lovely clear from Ordaz. But again, it's this 11-3, 11-4 situation where they buy themselves a round. They buy themselves maybe the round after.
And I mean, but this was the bonus for EF too, right? So like, this one's a little more traditional than you buying 2 Vandals and losing the second round after the pistol.
Yeah.
So this is more standard, we'll call it, right? And yeah, you're right. This is gonna be the issue is now this next round, this is where they lost that round over on Sunset, right? That big, like, okay, comeback arc or not. And it was just like standard kind of movement there after, again, a pistol and a follow-up. So 11-4 here. We'll see if ULF can keep this up. That round was nice. I liked the TP play. That was very proactive. That was very creative. And now we're looking for more.
Yeah, needs something a little bit more coming into this. Here we are. There it is. A little bit of spam, a little bit of tickle damage. Nothing too serious or to write home about. Echo's really trying to deter them. The swing up top, the transfer, it's a lovely to use the dog, not for information, but as just a crosshair movement.
Okay. And Skylin, they're trying to bait neck out of U-Haul, but they weren't ready to handle the challenge. It's a 4v4, 2 ults, 1 on each side here, could flip the map.
Very much. Lovely flash on
refight.
out there for Favian. Gives them the space, gives them the assurance.
And it feels like Eternal Fire is spreading themselves too thin. They're getting that closer syndrome. They're confident in their individual abilities to win these 1v1s, and they're losing every single one of them.
That's the moment, is the ULF's overconfidence, I think, coming into this maybe got punished a little bit. Now Eternal Fire's overconfidence in this series is finding a little bit of weakness. Ordaz disposition.
30 seconds.
Ooh. And there is perfect neutralization on both sides there. Converging paths come out to stop the Thrash. You can cover that, though, if you can get past Top and this off.
Time is the only issue here as well. Top gets one. Lovely swing out from Ordaz Spear. 15 seconds, though, and nah, not going to happen. We talked about this. They get one. They buy themselves a second. Eternal Fire. This is now a conversation about how they want to come back into
this. Is a conversation about
timeout.
Oh my god! I had in the back of my head, I was like, oh my god, Eternal Fire haven't taken any timeouts this series. Wait a minute. ULF didn't take any this map. They took one last map at 5-1. And I was about to say, I'm like, you have 2 timeouts for Eternal Fire in my mind. This was about the time you needed a tempo change, you needed a solution. Because again, it feels like Eternal Fire are, again, teetering on the edge a little bit of getting sloppy. And so, again, and what's beautiful about the situation that now, you know, Johnsip is in, is it's like a one and done. You get to overtime and you're chilling at least until like overtime, right? Like with that 12th. So I think you don't need to make a big change. You just need, hey, we need one plan, we need one round at least for now, and you hope that
one
won't
step
slip
at a time.
up, right? Yeah. So I think this is gonna be. I'm excited to see what they come up with out of this, right? You just need that extra kind of help there and assistance, especially when the roster's been switching a little bit, just to figure out and get through what already is an upset of a series.
I think something else that we can talk about quickly whilst we've got the timeout here is that ULF, of course, very recently parted ways with their coach, Vlad, who had been with them for a very long time. And from speaking to him, felt like a very integral part of the team, was very much a level head on the long days, on the stressful days. So, and it's not, there's been no official announcement yet about who has stepped in to fill those shoes. So a couple of question marks for us on the coaching side is not having that presence behind you to maybe have something a little bit more detailed and prepped, knowing this team and knowing what they can do, ready immediately to hit with.
A little anti-guiding light, Nebula for your troubles, but no flash to come through, and so it's the Fade playing towards this side of the map. It was that double again, Sky for the Waylay support to get the deep op line, but in the meantime, they are going completely away from the operator. It's going to be Audace to run contact because Neck is hindered out of control.
Caught with utility in hand, and they flood the site. That's weapons
an
picked
eco
up.
round.
It's an eco. It's a thrifty, and it looks like it's going from bad to worse here as well. Izzy's tucked on in. Lovely flash for Echo, but doesn't clear out Izzy. Izzy gets 3. And here we go,
Just the
Sop
op.
with the op. There's no way here. Gets baited out by
They
the
can
player
save it.
further back. And, I mean, even saving it here, I don't think Sop's plan is to save. Wanted something. And this is the thing, though. Still kind of hanging around a little bit.
Skyland's going to flank, right? They expect them to run away. They expect them to hold this line. Izzy, I kind of want to jump peek this angle or something to confirm that he's still there to set Skyland up. But all in all, this is still going to be map and a series point for Eternal Fire, right? Bounty on the line. We have 2 teams that can get bounties. Imagine if both of them get bounties in the first, or I guess the second round of Phase 4. Imagine.
I don't know.
That wasn't
What's
if
a
I picked them
feel?
though. I was gonna make that, and then I was like, nah, I can't do that as my hot
bingo
take.
sheet.
It was going
You
to
should.
be.
You should. I believe it. I hope it's gone out on Twitter.
I also
otherwise
said a challengers team was going to make grand finals, and
I
they're looking
mean,
pretty good.
There were several of the bingo sheets that were both ticked off and cancelled.
At this
point.
this series alone. And yeah, that's a round they should not have won, and I cannot believe that out of the timeout, that's what they're able to achieve. And look, it's broken.
Look what it's done. It's broken.
And they have the Sky ult, they have the Waylay ult. EF is set up perfectly. And the only stop, would be Echo shutting them down right off rip, off area drop.
Yeah, and unfortunately, so much utility in his
stop.
face. Dodges the converging pulse, but has been accounted for. Sop gets 1, but it's a precious consolation prize, right? There's already so much space conceded, and they're trying to do something to stop the spike going down. They're not succeeding. Izzy's already ahead of all of them. Neki desperately trying to. Orbital Strike comes on through, will find Izzy. But again, that spike still hasn't gone down. They're buying themselves
They have a
little bits and inches. The longer they wait, though, the harder to get. Ulf's coming back in. Spears holding for this. The transfer finds Stop as well. And there's Ordaz, topples, and Ulf fall. Eternal Fire finally breaks.